Welcome back to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. As always, we appreciate you listening. Please rate us on all the podcast platforms. Like, subscribe, comment, share wherever else you're listening, and enjoy the show. All right, welcome back to another episode. We appreciate you coming back. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. As always, we want to thank Adam Chubbuck with TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com. That's Team Alpha Charlie of Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland. Real estate market is still up and down, so you definitely need an experienced real estate agent to guide you through your buying or selling process. Go to the only person I'll trust with my real estate needs, and that's Adam Chubbuck. I'm actually still talking with Adam about doing some investing. I don't want to do any of like the flipping myself. Like I don't want to do any work. So
he's going to be a silent partner.
And we happen to come into a little bit of cash through no action of the podcast itself. But we happen to have bought a web domain called podcastmediagroup.com. That's how we incorporated. And then within 6 months, someone asked to buy the domain. I thought it was a joke, and apparently it was not. And we ended up getting paid for it.
I was waiting for the Nigerian prince to ask you for your bank account information, and I'll put the money directly in.
Dude, 100%. Like I was waiting for them to say, we're going to send you this amount. You send us this amount back.
Yeah.
And that never came. And we got the money deposited. So we pretty much funded ourselves now for the next 5 years and then some if we decide to keep doing this for 5 more years, which would put us on a longer term than most podcasts.
Even celebrity podcasts.
They're done within like 6 months, man. Yeah, that's even if they get off the ground.
Well, a lot of those, I think it's because they come in and people get attracted to, like, it's an organic relationship, I think. And the celebrity ones seem to be fit, like they have to be on the whole time. Bill Maher's podcast has lasted a while, but it's different than a show. But a lot of them just kind of, they just fizzle out because it's not natural.
So from what I've been able to tell, and this is just an outsider looking at the industry as a whole, there's definitely 2 types of podcasts. One, the celebrity is backed by somebody else. So there is a corporation behind the podcast itself, which is why they don't last more than a year, because they get like a ton of listens in like the first 3 to 4 episodes.
Yep.
And then it dies off when nobody wants to really hear what they got to say, or the show's repetitive, or whatever's going on. They generally tend to fizzle out, and then they can't sell the ad space for as much money anymore. Well, when your whole goal is profit and loss, and the profit margin isn't what you thought, because I mean, think about it. A celebrity, you got to pay him a couple $100,000 to do the podcast.
Oh yeah. Which
means you got to sell a shit ton of advertising, which is why in an hour-long podcast, like you look at like Shaq's podcast, they cut that thing so much. Like every 15 minutes, there's an ad. And even like, but then you've got the other side of it, and that's the people that are selling you something else. And they're adding the podcast as another way to get in touch with them or to see them. And I equate that to like the comedians. So like the Jimmy Dores, the Andrew Schultzes, at one point Joe Rogan, but now Joe Rogan's main thing is the podcast. Yeah. But for them, like in the beginning of every Jimmy Dore podcast, it gives you like their next 10 touring dates, because that's where he's making most of his money. It's not on the podcast itself. So he can do the podcast while he's at home, and he can drive sales of his tickets on the road.
Yeah.
And he's going to make more money that way, right? So he could command a higher price from the theaters that he goes and books. Because generally the way comedians and like performers get paid is the promoter pays them to be there, and whatever money above and beyond what they paid the promoter and they paid for the venue is what the promoter makes on it.
Okay.
So let's say I pay Jimmy Dore $30,000 to go perform at like the Cohoes Theater in New York, which is like, that's an odd place to go, right? So what's happening is there's a promoter, some comedic promoter up in Cohoes, New York, who has an in with the facility up there. They book the facility, they book him to perform, and they get all the ticket revenue.
Okay.
But if they don't make the 30 grand he paid to Jimmy and like the 10 grand to book the venue, so if he doesn't make over 40 grand, he's out money.
Yeah.
It's all on the promoter. So
now what about the concessions? Does that go to the venue?
Probably to the venue.
Yeah.
And sometimes some smaller venues won't charge you a huge fee, especially if the name is known. Like Jimmy is a pretty well-known name in comedy. Although I would say the podcast boosted his name in comedy.
I had no idea who he was until I started listening to his podcast.
Yeah. So for Jimmy, it was more of, I'm doing the podcast to promote my comedy. Schultz was a little bit of the same way, but then Schultz he was on the Brilliant Idiots with Charlemagne the God. Mm-hmm. And of course, Charlemagne does the Breakfast Club. So there was that tie in there. So that's generally where podcasts break down into those two camps. And then you've got people like us. We're the rest of the schlubs out there. Mm-hmm. And most of the shows, they're either passion projects where people keep doing them, or people just don't stop doing it.
That's us.
That's us.
Well, I also, this can be, it's nice to just sit down and put it out there and bullshit with a friend, and that there's a bit of a therapeutic aspect in it too, especially dudes in general. Like my wife goes out with her friends and they talk and they text and they talk on the phone for hours. I generally don't do that with anyone. So me, it's kind of like go to work, get home, turn and burn, get the kids to practice, get dinner, and then by the time it's all over with, I haven't sat down to talk to anyone except to send inappropriate memes to people.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of why I keep doing it. It's not for the money.
Not at all. No, and I would say we didn't have a sponsor for the first year.
Yeah.
And then we started getting the sponsors. Mm-hmm. And the sponsors, I would say in the first year we had sponsors, which was year 2, covered the costs.
Yeah.
In fact, it covered everything we had put into it, plus gave us an extra year. Mm-hmm. And I feel like year 2 is when the listeners started to grow a little bit. That's when we started charging more for advertising.
Yeah, it was more than me picking up somebody's phone and subscribing to our podcast on their phone.
Right. Yeah. And so, and the funny part is that people are like, well, what do you mean you don't have any listeners? I was like, yeah, I get it. Look, on our social media, do we have any followers on X? No.
Yeah.
I think we got 400, which is a lot for me, in my brain.
I don't know. I don't know 400 people.
No, I don't either. Our Facebook page has 50 people that follow it. Most of them know us.
Yeah.
And then Instagram, I think it's another 100 or so, right? So normally you would think, yeah, no one's listening to this. But then I look at the downloads of the show. And now, so it's funny. So this is one reason why they always say podcast metrics no one really knows what they are. Mm-hmm. So there's downloads and then there's streams. Now, places like Spotify will show you the streams and the downloads. Apple does not. Apple just shows you downloads. Mm-hmm. And other places just do downloads. So that means someone has to set it to automatically download.
Yeah.
That means they can listen to it offline. Whereas if they listen to it without downloading it, that's a stream. Mm-hmm. And very few people count those.
Yeah.
But you kind of get an idea just by looking at other metrics that we've got to see how many people are listening. And so, I think we started with 50 listeners on a show.
Yeah.
And I think now we're up to about, I think it's 10 to 11,000 a show, which is for two guys in a basement who've never advertised before in our lives.
Yeah. We
barely tell people it's us.
Right. I haven't put any of this on my own social media or anything like that. And
I think I've done it twice.
Yeah. So I could probably get another 50 people if I did. So,
so here's the thing. You're the more personable. I think if you were to put it out, I think it'd probably be 100 to 150 boosts in the first week, and it would grow from there. Because the more people you get, the more people it grows from. So, I think that explosion will come in another year when things change.
Yes.
For reasons we won't talk about. But anyway, and so this all goes back to, we want to thank Adam for sponsoring this show. We don't do this for the money. So for us, this is just, I mean, like you said, for you and I, we've talked about this before, and we've talked about men's mental health in the past. I get there's like the therapists out there that do, like the Fraser Crane, I'm listening.
Yeah.
But it's different when you hear two guys that talk about their own shit that they're going through, or how they deal with just mental anguish, I'll say. Like, for example, we were supposed to record this last week, and it was supposed to be Sunday morning. And I texted you and I said, I think it was like 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I texted you, I was like, I got to cancel this. I haven't even been asleep yet. Having an anxiety attack, leaving town the next day. And for me, I get bad anticipatory anxiety when I'm going out of town. And I don't know if that was it. I don't know enough about my own brain to figure out what happened, but I know I couldn't sleep that night. I mean, it could have been that I took the testosterone shot too late in the day. I don't know. But either way, I wasn't able to sleep, wasn't able to ramp myself down.
Yeah.
And so I knew if I had to wake up around 8 a.m. and I hadn't gone to sleep, and I wasn't going to go to sleep at like 5:30 in the morning. So 3 hours of sleep, do 2.5 hours of recording, and then drive.
And then wheels up.
Yeah, right. And then I was driving.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like I could just jump on a train or a plane and fall asleep. I was in go mode. Like, I was driving that day. I was like, this is just, it's not a recipe for success. So I literally texted. I was like, I gotta having anxiety issues, gotta delay. And that's one of the reasons why I posted, like, hey, we took the week off.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't going to repurpose an episode. I wasn't going to do that. I was like, hey, taking the week off. I think it's the first time we haven't put out an episode in 4 years.
Yeah.
Because it was officially 4 years in April 5th.
Right, because we started recording in March.
Yep.
And then of 21. And then got we released it, and I should go back and listen to that first episode just to see how it's changed. So,
do you remember what it was?
It was about the ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal.
Yeah, I've never forgotten that. I couldn't tell you what episode 2 was.
Yeah,
but I remember what episode 1 was, because I remember how stupid that was.
Yeah,
like,
and the show was called the Dumb Idea Podcast. Then
it was.
So,
we ran with that for about a year.
Yeah,
until we changed it. Because I guess it can't be a dumb idea if it runs for more than a year.
Or you're just really dumb. Or you're dumb and persistent.
Very true. No one's ever going to say we weren't persistent.
Right.
We are finally going to get back drinking a whiskey tonight. You've got the bottle. What we got?
So this is from our friend Ryan in Michigan. So this is, I guess, Eastern Kill is how you pronounce it. Kille. I don't think it's Killy. Distillery, Eastern Kill Distillery, Michigan straight bourbon whiskey in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's a little, I've migrated towards the high test myself, so at 45%, it's a little light.
It's for science, though.
But yeah, for science, I'm willing to do it. Now, there's no douchebaggery or pretentious writing on here telling you what it is, and it has flavors of musty taint or anything like that.
That's bonus points right there.
Dusty leather. Yeah, so I'm going to take it as a good sign. But, so yeah, Ryan sent these to us a while ago.
Yeah.
And he had done this before for the show, and they ended up on my, little liquor cabinet, and I drank both of them. So
that was hilarious. So, and the funny part of that was he sent me a message on Instagram. He's like, hey, did you guys try the bourbon I sent? And I literally texted back. I was like, I'm gonna end up being like a real douchebag when I send this back. But I'm like, I didn't get any. We didn't have him on the show. Are you sure you got him here? And he goes, he sent him with Ty, who then brought it to you, and then it just didn't get here.
Right.
And so we never tried it.
It was intercepted.
And so
by my liver and stomach.
So, and then it goes, I sent 2 bottles. I'm like, damn. I was like, I'm really sorry. It didn't get on the show. But this time
Yes,
It's on the show.
And the bourbon snobs out there would say, "Duh, well, it's not from Kentucky, so it's not a bourbon."
Screw that. But this ain't that show.
No, we're not.
If it's alcohol and brown, I'm calling it whiskey.
Yeah, and this has a nice flavor to it.
Is it underwhelming because of the proof?
Because of the proof, okay. Yes. Now, and that's just my preference. So, for example, I find Buffalo Trace underwhelming. Some people love it. They talk, a Buffalo Trace. I'm like, nah.
So I don't want to talk Buffalo Trace down too much because I just gave it as a gift to my wife's cousin for having us at her home. The husband.
Mm-hmm.
It is not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I remember I bought 3 of them at the time because they were finally in stock. I don't dislike it. I don't dislike Buffalo Trace. It is a 90 proof product.
Yeah.
And I also think the hype kind of tilted my point of view. Like, I was expecting pandemonium in my mouth, and I was just like, okay, this is $35 whiskey. And it's not even the best $35 whiskey we've had.
No, I'll take Evan Williams Bottled and Bond, where I got a 1,500 for $30.
Well,
so,
and we've said this from day one. The toughest one to beat in that price range, the $20 to $25 range, is Wild Turkey 101.
Mm-hmm.
That's very tough to beat.
Yeah,
because it's got the proof, and it doesn't taste like Sharpie or Rubber Band.
Right.
I mean, not a high bar to set. But we've had
it
some
doesn't taste like a butthole.
Right, but we had a $60 Blade and Bow that tasted like Sharpie, or Rubber Band. It was one of the two.
I think it was Rubber Band.
Yeah, and that's a $60 bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I buy that for $60 and it tastes like Rubber Band or some kind of chemically taste, I am pissed off that I spent $60, and fuck them for bottling that shit.
Yeah,
like taste your product before you put it in a bottle
with a little key attached to it.
I mean, it's fancy. The only thing I think of with a key, like, I don't know why, but I always kept thinking of Robin Hood men tights.
Tights
with the chastity belt she wore, and it had he had to have the key.
Yeah,
I don't know why it was this. It was the same old timey key though.
Yeah. I don't know why the key's on there. So this, if you smell it, you're kind of like, huh? So it got, but it's much more. It's better. Tasting than it smells.
Okay.
So
not like a Ham's beer where it smells like feet and tastes like feet.
Right. No. It's weird. And it could be because I was too lazy to bring a proper drinking vessel, and this is a red Solo cup.
Have we?
We're not pretentious. We're not pretentious.
90% of the cups we've used have been Solo cups. Every once in a while, I'll bring the tin cup, not the gross shit we tasted, an actual metal. I don't even know what the name. Tumbler?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Tumbler? Okay.
There's one sitting right there.
Okay, tumbler. Okay. And we're probably doing it a disservice serving ourselves in a tumbler and not a glass. But look, if you can't drink in any vessel whatsoever, to me that you're coming down. If I can't drink it in a Solo cup, you got problems.
Right.
This ain't the snobbery where I need the specific glass of vessel.
Correct.
We ain't that. This is not that show. We are, though, the number 7 podcast in whiskey.
Oh, wow.
According to Good Pods. Also happen to be the number 7 beer show, according to Good Pods.
Where are we as far as driveways?
Yes. We are, for concrete driveways, we're number 3.
Okay.
Asphalt driveways, number 10.
All right.
Go figure.
Well, most of the driveways in the neighborhood are concrete.
Although I said for gravel driveways, number 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there we go.
So the more, less pretentious, because, out in the sticks, no one's, you don't concrete your long driveway.
No, it's just gravel. Yeah.
Just gravel. So we're high on their list, low on everyone else's, or medium.
I'll take it. Whatever this website is.
I'll be honest with you though. Look, whoever's listening on that. Now, I don't know if they take only their stats or if they're taking everybody's stats. But I will say this, and this is still on the podcast, Insider Baseball or Inside Baseball. you look at you go and you look for shows. There are so many that still come up in like your like new to you feed. They haven't put out a show in like a year.
Right. It's a weird thing. And I don't pay attention to anything that comes into that.
Right.
Mine, the ones I listen to, and I have a much longer commute than you do. So the ones I listen to are they all have to deal, like, the vast majority came from, they were a guest on another show. Mm. So the first one I started listening to was Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. And then I was to that, and there was a show with Dan Carlin, Daniele Bolelli, who's an Italian history podcaster, and Jocko Willink. So I got into those two guys, History on Fire and the Jocko podcast, through Hardcore History. I got into Hardcore History because my buddy said, hey, you got to listen to this. It's really good. So I was like, oh, wow, and Dan Carlin's stuff is amazing. Well, recently Dan Carlin had Daryl Cooper on. A lot of people say Daryl Cooper is a nationalist and all this. If you listen to him, he's not. People just say that because they don't like what he has to say. So you just call him names when you can't when you can't come up with an argument that beats his position. But Dan Carlin is no wacko right winger, which is what they call Daryl Cooper. So I listened to his. Jimmy Dore came from you.
Right.
I started listening to Jimmy Dore. Dave Smith was a guest on Rogan. So I started listening to Dave Smith's podcast. So it's just, that's how they all kind of grew. Mm-hmm. And I have a nice library or selection. So there's something I don't get to quite often. There's some that I should probably just pull off because they kind of got boring. And I don't listen to them a whole lot, but they're still on there because I can look at it like this. Like if I'm following them and I'm listening to Apple, so I'm not sure if I'm downloading them or not. But there are people who I like, and I like their work. So if I stay on there as a subscriber, if it bumps their numbers up, even if I'm not listening to it all the time,
right,
then it works for them. Plus, it doesn't cost anything to like or subscribe. So,
and I do the same thing. Like there's some independent local podcasts that I'll subscribe to. I've been on a few of them, and I subscribe and I'll download the app. Like I just set it to auto download, so I don't even have to do it. Mm-hmm. And then they delete after a certain amount of time, but it still counts as a download for them. But I look at what the title is too. I mean, it's like one of those things. Like I don't listen to every Rogan podcast.
Right. No, so Rogan stuff. I'm not big into MMA. Yeah. So he does the Fight Companions. I don't listen to it. If I was into MMA, that would be gold. Right. That would be like if there was before a Caps game and they all got together and went over the upcoming game. Like that would be, I would listen to that. Yeah. But actually, I probably won't listen to that either. So,
like, there's an MMA guy that I'll listen to. Like, there's a guy called, and he's changed the name of the show a couple times. It's called Jesse on Fire. Mm-hmm. And he does like good. He's more about like the drama of MMA. So there's some of that, mm-hmm. But he also goes through like which fights are going to be or supposed to be good and whatnot. Less technical, more higher level, but he knows his shit. Like he could go technical if he wanted to. Mm-hmm. So I'll listen to him if I know there's a fight I want to watch. I don't watch all the pay-per-views, but I'll watch like certain. Like I'll probably watch like 3 or 4 a year.
Yeah. Last one I watched was the Tyson. Who's that kid?
Jake Paul.
Yeah. It was so bad, dude. Now the fight beforehand, the two girls, that was that was awesome. Yeah. That was the fight to watch.
I would say that like when I watch the UFC, the better fights now are generally in the prelims. Mm-hmm. Not the pre-prelims. So the way UFC does it, it's pre-prelim, prelim, main event. So there's 3 sections of it. The first 2 are generally on like ESPN Plus, and the last one's the pay-per-view portion of it. The professional fighters have gotten so good that I feel like some of the fights are really boring because they're so good at defense, mm-hmm. and they're all afraid of being caught. Like they're all afraid of kind of taking that chance and getting caught by someone who knows it's coming. Whereas the guys in the prelims, they're trying to get to a main event And they know in order to do that, Dana White wants to see action. So there's more action in those fights. There's more chances being taken, which I'm surprised because, like I said, Dana will put you in a main event card. So the main event's essentially 5 or 6 fights. He'll put you on the main event, even if you're losing, but you put on a show. Mm-hmm. It's how like Nate Diaz kept getting in the main event. That dude lost like the last 5 or 6 fights of his career. But he would stand there and just let people pummel his face until he bled out.
Right.
You know, and like he would give it back to him, and then somehow like his endurance was crazy. So like in the 5th round, he would almost sneak out a win via some kind of submission. So he's never out.
Right.
So you basically watched him get beat up for 4 rounds and then make a huge comeback in the 5th round. It was like the same freaking recipe every time. But then there's like another guy like a Justin Gaethje, same thing. The guy is going to go in and pound people. And like there's some others who we're going to go for submissions. Like there are certain fighters that are going to go for it regardless. Then you've got the other ones who are like, no, I'm going to kind of be a little more defensive. Like there was this one guy, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's a good fighter or not. He's not a good fighter, but a lot of his fights ended up being boring, even though he was technically really good. It was kind of like the Floyd Mayweather of UFC. And his name was Israel Adesanya. And he was the champ at light heavyweight for the longest time. Like I'd say probably a good year or so. But he would win via like decision.
Okay.
Like and like a lot of his title fights. And it's just like, okay, we've seen this before where you go and you dodge, and because the person gets frustrated and comes at you, you then catch them. But like to me, that's not championship fighting. And don't remember, like I said, I can't fight the guy. I'm not saying I can.
Right. Yeah, no one here is being like, I could do that.
But as a spectator, the reason why I don't watch boxing is because I want to see violence.
Right.
And the only boxer I'll watch is Canelo Alvarez because the guy goes in and pounds people's faces. And he'll take some punches. Not a lot of boxers do that. I do think Floyd Mayweather kind of killed boxing a little bit. Don't get me wrong. Technically, the guy was an astoundingly good boxer. I mean, one of the best ever. But his strategy was defense, point. Mm-hmm. And when I say point, I'm like jab to the face, but it wasn't with power.
Right.
And it was boring. And there were 40 of those. Mm-hmm. Until like the last 10 to 15 people were buying it, hoping someone would actually connect and hit him in the face. And they couldn't because he was that good.
Right.
But that's what, I mean, like when people want to go see violence, they want to see violence. They don't want to see pugilism.
Right.
So, don't know how we got here.
Me neither. Yeah, so MMA's never, I think it's cool and they're amazing athletes. I just think the athletic and the training part is the cool, like to me, that's the cool part. So like the fight, I kind of got out of it, not out of it, but if there's a grappler, and it's just jiu-jitsu, and I'm not taking anything. There might be some jiu-jitsu guys out there. I'm not taking anything away from jiu-jitsu itself. I don't necessarily want to watch it.
I kind of like it.
So, because I
like to see the weird submissions.
I like the striking, the strikers.
Yeah.
So, and that's because there's more going on, and maybe I don't know enough about jiu-jitsu to appreciate it. So maybe, and it's not that I don't like it. It's just not. But again, the whole sport isn't my thing. I'd rather watch a baseball game, or a. But then it's talking about like the guy's so perfect. Like sometimes having kids that play baseball. A lot of people, the only baseball they've ever watched recently is MLB baseball. So they go and watch a 13U game, and they're like, oh, I'm like, you're watching the best of the best in the world, where there might be. The team might commit 3 errors a week over playing 6 games, whereas you're watching, it's like 3 errors an inning. And actually the lower levels of baseball are kind of more exciting because stuff happens. A hard ground ball to the third baseman, unless it's a speedster that hit it, that's going to be an out. But not at lower levels. He might be safe.
Yeah, he might be safe. It could end up being a triple.
Yeah.
You never know. You don't know what's going to happen.
So
it's also part of the fun of watching it.
Yeah. So now when it's your kid that commits the error that leads to it, it's not as much fun. But, and if you're keeping score, then Oh, hey, what happened to little Braden's triple? The single was a gift.
Right. And of course, it's all in the game changer mom or dad to decide whether it's a single with 2 errors or a triple.
I'm trying to get fired from my game changer role.
You're putting everything as an error.
No, opposite. He's like, that should have been an error. I'm like, here you go, sir.
Right. Yeah.
Has yet to take me up on the offer.
It's so we did talk about travel baseball. Sort of. We talked more about like youth baseball and softball like 2 episodes ago, or last episode. Another fun aspect that people never see.
That they should, because they should care.
Well, they should participate
and should help.
Is getting the field ready. So at least in our area, so the county that we live in does not maintain baseball and softball fields. They are maintained by the clubs that use them. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if you are a youth organization, the county basically says, you get the permits from sunup to sundown, but you're in charge of maintaining and keeping that field in good condition. Essentially, that's what the broad terms of it are.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you a little bit of money to do it. And it's never enough money to do it properly.
Right. It's enough to maintain a soccer field,
sure,
which involves mowing it.
Correct.
And painting it. And they'll use these turf bots that either a company will do it or the organization will buy it. And you just put the little robot out there and it uses GPS. It just paints a field. Or you do it by hand if you want.
Do they really?
Oh, yeah.
At our level, do we have that?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know.
Yeah, it's not that. A buddy of mine actually has a business doing it. Football fields are the most because to do a football field right.
A lot more lines.
Yeah. And hash marks, and lacrosse fields have a lot of lines, and soccer field. Lacrosse, because they have the creases and the...
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking like soccer fields, like you still got the goalie box.
Yep.
I don't know if it's really that much more. Whatever.
Yeah.
So today I was out. So, okay, let me give a little background. So for my girls softball, there's 4 teams that use 2 fields. And the 2 fields, you got a practice field. So you got, because when game time comes, you got to have one field for games, and then another team might have a practice on that same day. Because when you got 4 teams, it's generally 4 to 5 days a week. There's practice. So you need another field for people to play games on. Or just it's some combination of one team can practice, one team can play. Mm-hmm. So at least 2 teams can do something on a given day. So going back to last fall, we found out that one of the fields had a huge runoff issue. Basically, all of the infield dirt, which is special dirt, it's not just random dirt.
It's not fill dirt.
Yeah. Correct. And I'll get to that in a minute. But essentially, all of our good infield dirt ran off into the dugout, out the back, and we basically could only reclaim a certain portion of it. And every time we did it, we would put it back on the field, not realizing, it didn't occur to us to put something up to stop the dirt from going into the dugout. All right. So finally, we're going to address this. After the fall was done, we were like, okay, we're going to address this. We built up basically a berm in front of the dugout. We put a French drain along first base to kind of help usher water out, which I'll get to that one in a minute too, because not as successful as we thought it was going to be. And then we relied on the good old county to deliver us some dirt to fill up what we lost. And they gave us the worst fucking dirt you can imagine. Like, there was more rocks than dirt.
Yeah.
And that's no for a baseball or softball field. Mm-hmm. But we didn't know that. And they had already put it on the field. So we basically, and as we're raking this out, basically like making the mound smaller and leveling it out, we're like, wow, this has got a lot of rocks in it. And by that time, it's already out there. And the only way to get rid of these rocks is basically sift through it now.
Uh-huh.
And so basically, we try to get rid of a lot with just rakes. And then, of course, we got the gator machine. So slowly we've been trying to get rid of as many of these rocks as possible, but we're still rocky. And on top of that, we didn't get nearly enough dirt. So now we've got a situation where we've got really low spots and really high spots. So of course we're trying to knock some of that down. Anyway, hold on a second. We're at the point now where we're at the beginning of the season. The field still isn't safe enough to use. And when I mean safe enough, like a girl could be running and literally just fall into a crevasse.
Oh, wow.
And like just roll her ankle.
Oof, yeah.
And with the amount of rocks, she can't slide because she just tear up her leg, right? So we're like, okay. And we have a contracted grounds person, and I'm like, hey man, what do you think? He goes, this field is toast. Mm-hmm. I'm like, crap, because we thought we could fix it, and when we put in the French drain part, I didn't realize how compact the clay was going to be. And so I don't think water is going down to where the French drain is.
Oh, wow.
Now, the water can come up from underneath and get in the French drain and go off, but it won't go down because it's just that compact. So we have more actual infield dirt coming next Tuesday. So I'm hoping that by Wednesday, this field is going to be usable, and then both fields will be usable, because the problem with the other field is that turns into a lake.
Yeah.
You saw that the other week. So my wife and I were out there with this battery-powered pump. It looks like a stick blender. It's just much more massive. Right. And we stick it in the ground. And it's pumping this water out through a 50-foot hose. It made a difference, but it was still a lake when I was done an hour and a half later.
No, because I saw you guys. I was talking to you out there, and like, I think that lake had like waves and currents and tides. I think I saw a little boat out there.
A chipmunk was surfing.
Someone was trolling for rockfish.
And so, all right, so we got one field, and none of us know what happened, because that field was one of the best drying fields up until about 2 weeks ago, and we don't know what happened. So I need more dirt for that field too now.
Yeah.
And it's not, and there's like some people are like, well, yeah, you got to take care of it. We took care of that field a lot.
And the thing is, like, you know, there are groups of parents and coaches that will go out there. Like, I forget the guy's name from softball. The only reason I know, because he'd be when I was coaching my then 9-year-olds or 8-year-olds 9U travel team. They practiced the same night, so I'd always get the tractor from him.
You talking about last year?
Yeah, fall of 23.
Paul.
Yeah. So, like, he'd come over with a tractor, and, like, because I want to drag my field and get out of there, and he's just having fun. Mm-hmm. You know, he's like, oh, I'm like a kid playing in the dirt. I get it, bro. Mm-hmm. It's awesome, but I'm trying to get the bone out of here. So
he's the one I learned how to do a lot of this stuff from.
So he was doing it, and then I'd get the thing, and there are people out there, like, the field that my oldest plays on, the county came out and laser leveled it. Mm-hmm. And it's nice. Like, just now, at first and third, there's a little puddle, but it goes away pretty quick. And now with it, and I'll say, having seen you use the electric pump versus the hand pump is, I was moving a ton of water with the hand pump. It's just you got to do it.
Yeah.
But I had a bucket there, and I just had the hose coming from the hand pump into the bucket, and I cleared off, dug a hole, put the hand pump in there, and just was able to get a lot of. So
did you lose dirt though? Did you lose like the top dressing?
Like the conditioner?
Yeah.
Where the puddle was, one of the reasons the puddle's there is because there was not a lot of the conditioning had washed off already.
Okay.
So I actually have to go back and put a pallet of conditioner down. But no, that field had that spot. It was right. That's a weird field. It has a grass infield, and then the base paths are dirt, but then there's the running lanes aren't dirt. It's all grass. So there's like an island where home plate is. Mm-hmm. That's a circle. That's dirt.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And then the mound is dirt. And then first, second, and third, that area is all dirt. But the infield itself is grass. So, it's...
Maybe we're talking about different fields.
That's...
More light.
Yeah.
But So, So first to second, second to third, that's dirt. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's home to first, third to home. That's grass.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's
That's a nice field, though.
yeah, and it's a work in progress, but where it was the worst puddle was at home plate, right at the pretty much at the left hand, right where like the first baseline comes in, the foul line comes in, right where the left-hander batter's box is. That was like the worst spot. So I used that pump and I sucked it off. God, that sounds awful. Pumped it off pretty quick, and then just raked it, and came back the next day, and it was dry. Got some conditioner on there, because it needed that whole area needed it anyway. So I'm hoping that keeps it decent. But
I will say this: so the president of the club knows what he's talking about when it comes to getting a field ready. And unfortunately, it takes a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And that's like that's his hobby, right? So he loves to, like, that's his thing.
Yeah.
It's like someone who likes to garden, right? Mm-hmm. Except he likes to do it. He likes to manicure baseball fields.
Called baseball farming.
Sure.
Not gardening.
Right.
Farming.
So, and he's been saying this for years. What is it? More hands make easy work, right? The problem is the more hands.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm out there. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand people need some direction. My only problem is, like, I go at odd hours.
Right.
And so I can't ask people to go at those odd hours. But, like, even like this past week, I was like, hey, this is a situation. We have a lake that we need to pump water out. You don't need permission. Just go, get the hand pump, use the hand pump. Here's where it is. Here's how you use it. I think 3 people went. Now, don't get me wrong. This is with 3 teams of 11. That's 33 plus another team of 13. That's 46 kids. I'm going to guess at least 46 parents.
Yeah.
3 or 4 went. 2 of which I know are coaches. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, don't put it all on your coaches to make it so that your kid can play. Realize that it takes you too. Granted, you're not coaching. You don't have to coach. You don't got to go on the field. But son of a bitch, you might need to take an hour.
Yeah.
And go pump some water. So that way you don't have to get the message saying, hey, we had to cancel the game today.
Yeah. And then you hear, oh, our fields suck.
Right.
And it's like, well, okay, they suck as bad as the people who don't want to put work into it. And, so, and then you have people like, hey, I want to help out, but I don't know anything about baseball. Do you know anything about rakes?
Right.
Do you know anything about, can you drive a tractor in a circle? Like, we'll show you how to do it. It's not hard.
Did I tell you, by the way? Beginning of the season, I offered every single coach, I will come to your practice and show your parents how to use the tractor. Take a guess at how many took me up on that offer.
0.
Well, I shouldn't say 0. 1.
Okay.
But I couldn't make the day.
Yeah.
But then I didn't get offered another day.
Yeah.
But I do think that they ended up figuring it out. Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, now there's stickers on the tractor that tell you how to do it.
I know, dude. It's hilarious.
I learned how to do it. I learned from watching another, one of the other coaches, baseball dude, and I was sharing his field along with, I was like terrified of screwing it up.
Yep.
Like, I can't screw these guys' field up. They're going to kill me. And so I watched him, how he did it. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it like that. And that's how I've been doing it, and it's fine. I think but people do the damage is when they try to force it, and you have well-intentioned people.
Look, as someone who's fucked up a field before, I literally, I didn't, for the first year or 2 that I was doing field circles, I wouldn't use the nails because I didn't know how to use them. I didn't know what they were for. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I'll just drag it with the mat. Can't do any damage with the mat. So I 1 year got a little got a little full of myself. Like, I'm going to use the nails. I found someone told me why you use the nails. When did you use the nails? I'm like, this is the day. This is the day. I'm using the nails today. So you take the thing, you crank it, get the nails on the ground. You're wondering if you got them too low, but you don't care. You got the nails down. Driving. I'm doing my circles. I'm on the outside edge of my circle. I don't see home plate. All of a sudden, I'm like, we're going a little slower. And whatever. I step on the gas harder. Let's go. We're going. I do the full circle, get around. I'm like, I don't see any nail marks now. I just see something that's flat. It looks like it. I don't know. It's flat.
Change from nails to Zamboni.
Yeah. This is really flat. It's kind of deep in there too. I look behind me. I'm like, and then I get close to home plate.
You don't see home plate anymore.
I'm driving up to it. I'm like, looks like home plate's missing. Nah, it's still there. Get closer. Oh fuck, there's a hole there. I look back. The nails grabbed home plate, pulled it out, and I dragged it around the field. I get out of the gator. I'm like, okay, I gotta get home plate off. So I crank it back up, get my arm workout in. The home plate came up with the nails. It was a good 2 inches deep into home plate. That home plate was just hanging there. And home plate's not light.
It is bigger than actual home plate. Like, is there like,
it's deep.
Yeah.
It's a good 2 inches deep in the ground. So not only did this thing pull it out, dragged it all around, it is in there. And I'm like, it's not falling out. So now I'm like trying to kick it out, not moving. I grab a rake and I just start pumping it. Like I'm taking the butt end of the rake and just trying to pound it off of these nails. It's not moving. I'm like, holy shit. Not only did I get home plate stuck, but now I can't get it off the tractor. So I'm like, I can't even get home plate out to put it back in. And nobody can use the tractor. I'm like triply fucking this thing up.
You're like a little kid, just run away. It's like when you hit a baseball when you're a little kid and like hit someone's house, like everyone just runs away. Just run away.
And I'm like, I can't text the president because I already fucked up another field a couple years ago. Like, I already fucked that one up. They already fixed that one for me. Like I'm being double dog shit now. So I sit there, just banging on this thing with a rake, and finally it falls down. I drive the tractor away, and I'm looking at the home plate. I'm like, fuck. I got 4 holes in it, in the white part. Like the black part you can kind of cover with the dirt as you're burying it. Yeah. The white part's all visible.
Right. And the umpire's going to brush it off every time.
Every time. Yeah, I'm just like, oh, fuck. And the other worst part about this is I just helped another coach install this one the week before. The week before. We had a brand new home plate. Everything was looking great. And I come along. So then I finally get it off. I put it back in the hole. And I just start pushing dirt back in to try and like rebury it.
Right.
We get to practice the next day because this is fall. We get to practice the next day, and the coach is like, the corner of this is kind of sticking up a little bit. I don't. And this is the guy that helped me put it in. He's like, I don't remember being like that. We had it in there pretty flat, didn't we? And of course, the other guy that was there that helped out. Yeah, we had it there. It was perfect. It was great. I go, all right, I got a confession to make.
Edgar Allan Poe's telltale heart is under there. Dunk, 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 dunk.
And I saw this dude. His face was like, and he's the nicest person. He's the nicest individual. Like, couldn't be nicer. I could see the fuck you on his face. Like, he just looked at me like, oh. And they're both laughing it off. Again, the nicest guys. And I was like, I'll come help and I'll reset it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And so then we redug it and we put it back down. But yeah, so if you don't think you can fuck up a field, you certainly can, but it won't be that bad. No one is that dumb enough to run nails over home plate. The other bad part is when you take the nails over the bases. Because the bases won't be there, but the metal things that hold the bases in are, you can easily pull those out.
Well, the other thing is when they break off one of the plugs. So for those of you that haven't seen them, like when you take the bases out, they don't just sit there. There's like a post that goes into a sleeve that's dug into the ground. When you take the bases off, you put this, it's like a little plastic rubber mushroom. So it looks like it's got like a stump and then the head. And the rounded head is what sits there. The stump goes down into the sleeve. Sometimes people will run the nails over it, and rather than just popping the whole plug out, they rip the top off. So now you've got I had to do it on the 90-foot field in the fall. Someone did it. So there's like this stump that's still stuck in the sleeve. Rather than just leaving it there, they jammed the base in and jumped on it, which then drove it further down into the sleeve. But the sleeve is, maybe 9 inches deep, and the shaft that comes off the bottom of the base is like 6 or 7 inches. So it never lays flat, and now you've got this thing jammed all the way to the bottom. A base will never go in there. The only way to fix it is to dig the sleeve out and then somehow get that stump to come out. So I used a rake handle and the sleeve, and I'm like slamming it down on top. It looks like I'm jerking off this thing, and finally it pops out. You can get another plug and stick it in, it's fine, but it's like, just don't try to fix it. You're just going to make it worse, So
I tried something new today, though. So in the 2 hours I spent on the field, because I'm getting it prepped for the dirt, and we're trying to loosen up the bottom soil so that it will drain down. So I used the blades.
Okay.
I had never used blades before, so I had to learn how to get the nails off. So it's a nail bed.
Right.
I had to learn how to get that off, which actually wasn't that bad. You essentially just crank it so that the nails are just on the ground. Mm-hmm. You pull the pin, then you crank it back up, and the thing just lifts off of it.
Okay.
And then you pull forward. And then I put the blades on, also easy. Easier than I thought it would be. I thought that was going to be the most difficult part of my day. It was not. So I get on the dirt. I lower the tines. I'm lowering the blades. And we're going. I didn't realize how much pull this was going to have. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not driving as fast as you do when you have the mat. So I'm going. I'm looking back. Okay, we're digging it up. This is it. We're doing it. No turning back. I'm going. And then all of a sudden, I feel like a really hard pullback. I'm like, that seemed odd. But we kept going. And again, got to the same spot. Poof, pulls me back a little bit. Kept going. I come back around. I see this orange thing.
Was it the base plug?
It was the base. It must have been a really old base plug, though, because they had all been taken out, and this field hadn't been used since last spring.
Right.
And it was orange. We haven't had orange base sleeves in a long time. Mm-hmm. So I think this was a really old one, and because I was digging under the surface, I think I got low enough where I hit it, and I pulled it up. But then it was weird, though. Like, there were parts of it, like, I needed it to dig into the high parts, and it wasn't digging into those. And I didn't have the wheels down, so it should have dug in. Yeah. But it wasn't. So I did what I could. I dug up most of the field. It looked like a bomb just took out the field because it was just gross. Like, it looked like it because the top layer had been so hard and compact. It looked like just a bomb went off. Yeah. And a building was now crusted the top. But so I took the blades around that field like 7 times. Made sure I could till up what I could till up. Spots I couldn't. Then I went through and I put I got the blades off, put the nails back on. Then I did the nails on those same spots because now I wanted to try and break up some of the dirt rocks and some other stuff. Still wouldn't break up those top spots. Like something is going on with that. And then finally I went over with the drag mat. 2 hours worth of work.
Yeah.
Felt good about it. But then I was like, oh shit. I did all of this to loosen up the dirt. And then I probably just compacted it by driving over it with the gator and doing the nails in the drag mat. So luckily this was the first run. I'm going to do it a couple more times though. Because if it does rain, I want it to soak down.
Yeah.
Because I no matter what next week, I want to be able to do this with the dirt.
The rain's been killing baseball this year.
Yeah.
And softball. It's
just been. Yeah. I mean, the weatherman saying we're in a drought. Fuck him. We got a shit ton.
Yeah. Not if you're trying to play baseball. And it's like the time of year where it's nice during the week and rains every weekend.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, rain at night, politely.
And get above 60 for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
How many times it was raining, getting to like 45? Like an overcast. It's like we need some sunlight to evaporate some water, please. Mm-hmm. We just were not getting lucky.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening this weekend, weather-wise.
It's supposed to be okay.
Okay.
I mean, I say that now, but it's got to be okay. Literally, I need this to happen for Tuesday and Wednesday, so the games can happen Thursday, Friday on that field. Mm-hmm. And they're gonna happen. Like if dirt goes down, we're playing on that field regardless. It'll be safer than it was.
Yeah,
at least. But like that'll. Like I didn't know shit about fields. So this is if we can actually play games on there, I'm gonna chalk it up as a win.
Oh yeah,
and move on to the next one. Mm-hmm. The good thing is like once you do it, or once you I think probably the scariest part was when I actually put the blades into the ground and saw how tore up that field got.
Yeah, it's like when you aerate your lawn.
Yeah,
if you do it yourself.
Yeah,
and like to do it right, like it should be like just tear it up.
Yeah. So I got done doing it, and I was just like, "This is bad. Like it looked bad. Like here, I'm showing him a picture now. Like that's the after.
Oh boy,
yeah, like that's what I mean. Like it looks like a bomb goes off.
It does. There's all kinds of rocks and nastiness in there.
Yeah, like so a lot of it isn't even rocks though. It's just the hard dirt.
Oh, it's the clods of
yeah. It's the top layer that was so dried out. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of that is rocks because that's the dirt we got from the county. F them. I shouldn't say that. I don't want emails to fly. Yeah. Sorry, county. Sorry if I'm offending the county people. They're very nice people. There's wonderful people on both sides.
Very fine people.
Very fine people. Yeah. Now, I don't know if they meant to give us that bad of dirt. I don't think they would have done that. But we're making do with it. And
so there's a pile of dirt over at Prince George's Stadium where the Bay Sox play. I'm like, but that's like legit. Like they get it from New Jersey somewhere. Like it's this pile of dirt. I'm like,
You ever want to know how much infield dirt costs?
Like legit infield dirt?
Legit.
Yeah.
Like what we get. Like the stuff we actually, not the crap we got, but stuff that we normally get.
How much is it?
50 tons, which I believe is just a dump truck full. $1,700.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it ain't cheap.
I wonder what the Bay Sox pay for their dirt.
Probably pay more.
Yeah.
So for infield mix, this is the lowest level of infield mix you can get. They have another level, but we weren't paying that price. Yeah. Plus, it's youth ball. Let's be serious. Like, look, I love my kids and all, but let's be honest about what we're doing here. Like, I'm not trying to make it Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
Or any other stadium.
Fenway, Camden Yards.
This is Arnold Field.
Yeah.
This isn't the stadium. This isn't OPC.
Yeah.
Or for regular people. Camden Yards. Stop with the OPC shit.
I can't stand it.
Fucking awful.
Yeah.
Hipsters came up with it. I guarantee you some hipster came up with that
Sure.
shit. Wanted to feel special in their
because
life.
they're too lazy to text Camden Yards.
Right. Like you couldn't have just you couldn't like shorthand couldn't have been CY.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it could also mean calendar year, but for everyone, Kim yards.
Yeah. But no one's going to say, meet me at calendar year.
Correct. Context matters.
Right.
100%. So, I want to thank Adam Chubbuck with TACMD, TACMD.com. Did we have any other field? We kind of went from
Podcast to fields. No, I just...
inside baseball for podcasts to actual baseball.
I will tell you this, though. My yard, I'm not a landscaper. I don't take any pleasure in it. But I spend so much more time on my kids' baseball fields, and my wife is like, "Why don't you should see our yard? Why don't you spend that time in our front yard?" I was like, "Do we play baseball in our front yard? No."
Do you play baseball in your backyard?
There's my backyard's full of baseballs and tees and power nets, and the puppy likes to eat baseballs. She chews the leather off of them, and then just leaves. Which is, I mean, I get it. It's everyone's touched the baseball. It's rolling around the dirt and the grass. Like, it's probably for a dog that's like a delicacy.
Probably.
But I had over 100 baseballs. Now I have like 60 because the kids either hit them over the fence or too lazy to get them, or leave them outside and they weigh like 10 pounds, or the dog eats them.
You should email the equipment guy for the club. Yo, my kids keep hitting dingers in the woods. I need another bucket of balls.
Yeah, these ones I bought on Marketplace. There's usually some good, go find them and pick them up. So
Marketplace and eBay actually has got some good used ball deals.
Yeah.
Like I've tried I've touched the practice balls, but they have the word practice on them versus like the official balls. I mean, the leather's not as soft on them, but I mean, for a practice ball, it's fine.
Yeah, who cares?
The ones I always get confused by are the safety balls, the squishies.
Oh, if I find a squishy, I just chuck it.
We use them. I kept them in the garage.
Okay.
So when I was doing the hitting work over the winter, I would use those. So that way we didn't have all the... Well, for one, cold and bats don't go well together.
No.
So I would use the safety balls so that they wouldn't
mess up
break
the composites.
Bats. Yeah. So that was nice. And plus it just wasn't as loud for the people inside either. Mm-hmm. I still got that net in my garage too. I figure I should. I kind of like it in the garage though.
I mean, then the girls can go out and hit whenever they want.
See, I don't think they could get it outside.
But
so
they can hit
it's
in
too
the
tall for the garage.
Oh,
so like when the garage, like it'll fit in the back part of the garage where the garage doors aren't because of how high it is.
Yeah,
but I mean, if they want to hit, I'll take it outside, or we can just do it in the garage with them. I'll do whatever they want, but. They got the pitch back outside though.
Okay.
Because one of them is pitching.
Yeah.
The other one tried pitching, was like, nah, I'm good. Well, I ain't doing this shit. We did start looking for a team for her for the summertime.
Okay.
I emailed the coach. Haven't heard back. Also don't know if he got it. So
yeah.
But we'll see. It was also like a 14U team. And she isn't aged up yet, so right. I don't know if they're really looking for that far in the future. So, but that'll be a topic for a whole nother day.
Yeah.
Want to thank Adam Chubbuck, TACMD.com, TACMD.com. Again, uncertain real estate market. You need a professional, and you need someone that's going to look after your money like it's their own. If it's not the right time to buy or sell, he's going to let you know. If you have to buy, well, no one really has to buy, but if you have to sell, he's going to make sure you get the largest dollar amount for your property or home that you can possibly get. And when you have a good real estate agent like Adam, it is literally the difference between, if you're a buyer, it's the difference between saving thousands of dollars, and if you're a seller, it's the difference between not giving up thousands of dollars. So go to TACMD.com. That's Adam Chubbuck with Team Alpha Charlie, Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland. And we'll see you guys next week.